President Obama recently concluded his trip to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia following threats to pull billions of dollars from the U.S. economy amid the possibility of Republican Senator John Cornyn's bill becoming law. Cornyn's bill would allow for family members and survivors of the 9/11 attacks to sue foreign governments in which that terror attack and others are linked to. The other Saudi scandal in Washington involves this. In 2002, shortly after a joint congressional inquiry into the 9/11 attacks, the Bush administration ordered to permanently seal a 28-page section of the 9/11 report that investigated possible Saudi government links to the attack. It has remained sealed ever since. This causing outrage from family members, survivors, and first responders to the World Trade Centers and the Pentagon. So joining me now to discuss this is Kathleen Owens, whose husband was among the 3,000 lives lost that day. He was killed in the North Tower in New York. Kathleen, so sorry to hear about your loss. Now, having lost your husband in these horrific 9/11 attacks at the World Trade Center, how do you feel about the government withholding such pertinent information, those 28 pages from the 9/11 Commission report?
I feel betrayed. How is it that we have been left on our own to investigate and prosecute the 9/11 attacks? But not only have they left us on our own, they're actually purposely blocking our efforts. 28 pages is only one way that we've been stonewalled.
Can you give us some examples of other ways they've prevented you from getting more information?
Well, they've sided against us and with the Saudis in court. They have tried to keep information from us from another investigation. The FBI investigated a Saudi family from Sarasota, Florida, that had connections to both the hijackers and the Saudi royal family, and they're trying to keep that secret. A judge is now looking at 80,000 pages of an investigation that the FBI said never existed, thanks to a FOIA lawsuit from the Florida Bulldog. And now they are stalling our bill in Congress for the past 6 years and withholding not only the 28 pages, but a whole cache of documents relating to the 9/11 attacks.
And former Senator Bob Graham, who was the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee at that time, was recently on RT. Take a listen to what he had to say about this very subject, and I'd like to get your response on the other side.
To me, the central question that remains unanswered in 9/11 is whether the 19 hijackers acted alone or whether they had a support network. I think it is implausible that 19 people, most of whom neither spoke English nor had had any prior experience in the United States, could have carried out such a complicated plot. So I think there was a support system. And the 28 pages hopefully would show some specifics as to who that support system was and what external force had financed the support network.
What do you think about Senator Graham's thoughts there?
Well, we owe a lot of thanks to Senator Graham for keeping up the fight for us for all these years, trying to get that information declassified. And, you know, of course he's right. He knows that the United States covered up the investigation. The 9/11 Commission was not privy to all of the information that we have now. And it's really unbelievable to me and the rest of the families that our government dropped the ball and never completed investigation into who supported these hijackers, logistically and financially.
Kathleen, do you think that they did that report, the 9/11 report, a little too prematurely, perhaps before having as much evidence as you do now?
I'm not sure. Of course, we wanted it done right away, but I think that they were really constrained by not enough resources, not enough time, and a lot of information was withheld from them. It was also very politically geared and also underfunded.
And what do the victims and the survivors, family members like you, want Congress to do now at this point? I mean, besides maybe adding more funding, what other things can be done?
We want Congress to pass the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act. It's going to get rid of the loophole that would allow us to bring our evidence against the Saudis to court. Hopefully, that evidence will include the 28 pages and the other classified documents that are still being withheld. And we would like the United States to stop tolerating the murder of 3,000 innocent people.
How would you say the average American citizen, the average person in the U.S., in fact, or the average person anywhere, might be able to get involved and help your cause?
Oh, okay. So there's a great website. It's 28pages.org, and you can get a lot of up-to-date information about this issue. And it's also going to give you links on how to contact your congresspeople. If people would call their congressmen and congresswomen and ask them to release the 28 pages and to pass the JASTA bill, that would really go a long way to help our cause.
And any word from President Obama all these years later, now that you and your group are pushing past JASTA.org, any word out of the administration as he's wrapping up his final term? I mean, are they addressing this?
No. No. Well, not to us they aren't. They're very quiet. We've written a number of letters to President Obama that he hasn't responded to, and we're very frustrated.
Zero response. That's kind of shocking, considering this is a bipartisan bill. A lot of members from the left and the right are involved in the JASTA bill. Yeah. And it's kind of shocking to hear. And again, very, very grateful for you to share your story with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Kathleen Owens. Thank you.